30th November 2014, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Seri Najib Razak, has announced to retain the Sedition Act 1948 during UMNO's assembly in PWTC. The announcement was accepted gratefully by the audiences, especially the members of the party. However, it began to inflict fire among the opposition party that required the so-called Draconian law to be repealed, besides being claimed by the Bar Council as an irrelevant act since it was established back before the independence. For the nationalists, this act is the frontliner to protect Malaysia from threats that would disable the solidarity of Malaysians.
When the Prime Minister Najib Razak declared that he wants to retain the act, the Sedition Act. Actually, he mentioned about two things. First is about to protect Islam and also other religions as well, to ensure that there's no attempt on religious hatred in the country. The second thing is to ensure that there's no attempt on separation of Sabah and Sarawak from Malaysia. So actually, the government tried to avoid any discussion of an attempt, to split Malaysia. So that's why Sedition Act will be used on that purposes. So I think it's good. It's good in terms of to ensure that Malaysia continue to exist as it is. Like Peninsula with Sabah Sarawak as part of Malaysia, and any attempts to divide Malaysia will be enforced or will be tackled, strongly by the government. So I think it's very important. Very strong word from the Prime Minister. I think it's very important for the country right now. Yeah. I don't think Sabahan and Sarawakian are now thinking of, to break, from Malaysia. I think that's not their main issue right now. The main issue right now is probably they think about their life, the economy in Sabah Sarawak, So and the issue of breaking of Malaysia, actually they benefited from Malaysia a lot, through our investment over there, our industry that we established over there. We also plan to have like Trans-Borneo, highway, in the pipeline right now, So of course, to bring development is needs several stages, in order to prosper the people over there, But I heard, just a small number of people, probably NGOs, that talk about separation, because they're disappointed with the federal government, they think that probably Sabah and Sarawak need to be separated. But I don't think it's a mainstream view in Sabah Sarawak. So I think by having the Sedition Act, of course we can distance this view from the mainstream. Of course in academic probably we can discuss about this, but not in the public sphere. So yeah, I think I'm not worried so much about the view coming from Doris Jones or anybody, which I think the unity between Sabah, Sarawak and Malaysia still strong right now. Yeah. Sabah Sarawak merged with Malaysia in 1963. Actually, we accepted a 20-point agreement, and it actually is an agreement that say that okay, Sabah Sarawak, even though those two states join Malaysia, as part of Malaysia, but they have autonomy on certain things, and one of the things is the immigration, in terms of immigration autonomy. So meaning that they can bar, somebody if you think that they're not welcome coming to both of the states, so they can do it. The authority can do it. The state government can do it. That's their autonomy. Even previously also we have to use, people from Peninsula have to use passport to go to Sabah Sarawak. But now we still have to use our identity card. Even though many in the Peninsula argue that this probably, because we're already part of Malaysia, why not we scrap this, we scrap this, these procedures and regulation, But in the spirit of Malaysia, we commit to the 20 point of the agreement, saying that we still will practice this because this is their autonomy, what we accept when they join Malaysia. Yeah, it's we have to accept that's the agreement. So then I think we have to live with it. So I think should be no problem for everybody. Yeah, I think yeah, Sedition Acts need to be understood clearly. I think probably yeah, the issue normally is about the I just mentioned just now about the definition of sedition is too broad, and so many argue that it can be manipulated easily. But the act itself actually, that's why I think Rafizi from PKR, really against Sedition Act. He said that Sedition Act is not only from Rafizi but others members from PKR also saying that Sedition Act actually against freedom of speech. But if you look argument from, for example, like PAS and Islamic Party, they say that they have reservation on on Sedition Act, but they actually agree with the law. The law actually can protect people from actually spread and hatred against other community, religion and so on that I mentioned just now. I think probably the good thing about Sedition Act actually, if it can really define actually, is actually to protect against any attempt for hate speech. I think that's very important, because we cannot live in a country where we allow people to to insult other religion, other race, so on. Even in UK also, they have like the racial and religious hatred act. So they also have law that almost similar like Sedition Act, but of course not similar in terms of the details of the law. Of course, it's not similar, but they also have law that protect the people from, for example, like in the law itself, actually it protect especially the Christians, the Sikh, people, and even the Jews, from any attempt of other people to insult those group of communities. So in the case of Malaysia also, we don't have similar act like that, but we have Sedition Act. There also almost similar protection against any attempt to insult any community in Indonesia. So I think Sedition Acts is important. Of course, it's a colonial law. It need to be amended, but of course, if the government thinks that it's need to be sustained, I think also it can. But of course, it need to be suited with the current situation in Malaysia, where the new issue. I think lately we can see that lots of discussion about religion and so on, which people worry about that. Another thing is issue of Sabah Sarawak, of course. That's why highlighted by the Prime Minister. So we need to strengthen on these two things, which I think that can help to really clearly define Sedition Act, and also can protect Malaysian people more, strongly, in the future. So I think that's probably my argument. Yeah, actually, freedom, freedom or fundamental liberties is protected under the Constitution, under Part 1, of the Constitution. Even you talk about freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, is under Article 10 of the Constitution. We also talk about freedom of religion, for example, under Article 11 of the Constitution. So, but of course, freedom is not absolute. So meaning that we cannot have a total freedom on everything. Of course, I think freedom also always come with the responsibility, so or even social responsibility. So meaning that, and also if you look closely, the Constitution, like for example Article 10, they also like provision in the article that also saying that the freedom of speech can be allowed to be practiced as long as it will not consider as against public morality, for example, against meaning that they use or they misuse freedom of speech to to use against the authority or against the king, against other religions, so on. Meaning that in the constitution also already well defined freedom of speech, what we can do or what we cannot do.